What's going on, guys? You're listening to WUSB 90.1 FM. This is the student edition of the sports section. It's just me. Usually we got like 4 or 5 guys doing this, but I've been abandoned. It's just me today. So we'll give you the scoop on everything Stony Brook sports to the pros. We'll cover everything. We'll talk New York sports, the most important sports region there is. And we'll start off right here, right in our backyard, Stony Brook, where we are a D1 school. If you didn't know, we play most of our teams in the America East Conference, all except our football team and hockey team. The football team plays in the Colonial Athletic Association. And we'll start off talking about women's soccer. Their season has ended. They did not qualify for the America East playoffs, unfortunately. They finished their season back before Halloween on October 28th. They had a 1-0 win. Overall record is 7-8-2, 4-4-1 within the conference. So the first time they are under 500, first time they missed the playoffs since 2015. So, Stony Brook sports has been fairly successful in recent years, women's basketball especially. And unfortunately, women's soccer broke a 5-year playoff continuation. Moving on to men's soccer, they just had a 1-0 win versus Albany. Lone goal scored by Boss Beckhoven, and that improved their record to 8-6. They are ranked 4th in the American East Conference. That is good enough to clinch them a spot in the America East Championship Tournament. They nationally ranked, they're 82 out of 202, not too bad. Within that top 100, that's pretty good. And their next game is this Saturday at 4 p.m. versus UMBC, who are 8-7-2. And football, they've suffered 5 straight losses. So they suffered straight losses early in the season, but they are coming off back-to-back wins versus Delaware. And then they beat Richmond at homecoming, if you were there. That was a great game for defensive back Carthel Flowers. He won the Colonial Athletic Association Defensive Player of the Week. He had 14 tackles in the game, I believe 8 solo and 6 assisted. It's the most by any Seawolf in a single game. In all Seawolves history, it's the 5th most in CAA history. So pretty big week for him, and Stony Brook looks to keep the wins coming. I mean, back-to-back wins, that's huge. And, they started off the season well with a W, and the 5 straight losses kind of derailed them. But back to their winning ways, and we hope that continues as they play the Maine Black Bears tomorrow. They traveled up there already, and the Maine Black Bears are 4-4, and they lost to Delaware, who Stony Brook has beaten. So, I mean, there's ever a good weekend to start climbing back to that 500 to get to 4-5. This is it. Stony Brook, not too much time left. So hoping for a big weekend there. Women's basketball season has not started yet for them. They are the reigning champions of the America East Conference. They are projected to be first yet again. They have a new coach, Ashley Langford. She played at Tulane. She has the most assists in Tulane school history. And she played professional basketball internationally, and now she's here leading the charge for our Seawolves women's basketball team. And we're expecting more big years from India Pagan and Anastasia Warren. Pagan made all-conference team last season. She had 10.2 points per game over her career. She's in the 1,000-point club for Stony Brook, and she even competed in the Olympic Games. So lots of leaders on this team, lots of experience on this team. Anastasia Warren, she was the 2021 most outstanding player in the America East tournament in the finals game against Maine. She had 31 points. I mean, talk about clutch. And their first game is here at Island Federal Arena, November 9th versus Delaware. Men's basketball, last year they were 7th in America East with a 7-9 record. They're projected to end up first this year, according to a coach's poll as well. So big expectations for both basketball teams. They have a 4-man transfer class. So 4 people coming from other schools to Stony Brook, and collectively they have the most points of any incoming transfer class in the country. Led by Elijah Olani. He has previously played for the Seawolves, and he's coming back from Miami. He won the America East Rookie of the Year a few years ago. His last season, he was named to the all-conference team. Jaleel Jenkins from Fairleigh Dickinson, St. Bonaventure's Anthony Roberts, and Indian River's Tanaj Pentway. Combined, those guys are the guys rounding out that 4-man transfer class, combining for 4,203 points over their career. So pretty good players coming into Stony Brook this year. Part of the reason why coach's poll seems to have them ranked pretty high. So hoping for the best for our Stony Brook basketball teams. Moving on to volleyball, women's volleyball. They are second in America East. They have clinched a playoff berth with a 12-11 record. Started season slow. They had 4 straight L's right off the bat. Been much better since. Out of their last 6 games, they've won 5. They're coming off a sweep. They've really done well. They swept Hartford. They clinched their spot in the AE playoffs in that game. Amia DeLong was named the AE Player of the Week. She's the junior outside hitter, had 12 kills with a .478 hitting percentage, third. That's good for third in the America East in both hits and points per set. They continue their hot streak, hopefully tonight versus Albany in just under an hour at 6 p.m. tonight. Women's swimming and diving. They have a new interim head coach, Mark Anderson. He swam here as a student 9 years ago. They lost their first matchup narrowly versus Sacred Heart. Maddie Enda set a new pool record in the 200 fly. It was a time of 2 minutes, 7 seconds, .71. So good for her. Congratulations to Maddie Enda for that. No standings are available just yet, too early in the season. Next matchup is November 13th here at SBU versus St. Francis Brooklyn. Cross country, both men's and women's are participating in NCAA Div 1 and America East. Men's team, they finished second in the America East tournament. 4 students finished in the top 14, with senior Robert Becker leading the way. He got 7th and made the first all-conference team. Women's team finished third. Fiona McLaughlin, though, very impressive. It's her rookie season. She placed third in the 5K individually and won America East Most Outstanding Rookie of the Meet for the championship. They both will be participating in the NCAA Regional Championship Friday, November 12th. So next Friday, we're wishing our best luck here at WUSB to the men's and women's cross-country teams as they travel up to Albany, I believe, for the cross-country regional championship. Hockey, that's my thing. Stony Brook hockey has been on a tear. They have, like I said earlier, one of 2 teams that are here at Stony Brook that don't compete in the America East alongside football. They are in the American Collegiate Hockey Association, which is a Div 1 league. They have Div 2 and Div 3 as well. Stony Brook competes in Div 1. They are currently ranked 4th nationally, and they received huge bumps in their rankings after they swept the, at the time, a couple weeks ago, they swept the number 1 team, Adrian College, and they are the defending champions from 2020. So, man, they are very, very good, and Stony Brook took a huge rankings boost after that. They've now won 7 straight. Like I said, they swept last weekend. They swept the previously undefeated NYU, and they are 9-1 right now. First in their own conference, which is the Eastern States Collegiate Hockey League. They've won that conference title 4 times. Haven't won since 2016 when they culminated in their 4 straight wins. But they've never won the national title. They've lost in the finals once. They've been the runner-up, but they've never won that national gold. And what better year than this year? They beat the defending champions. They are in Liberty in Virginia tonight, taking on Liberty University, and they play them tonight at 7. Liberty is ranked 1 spot above them for 3rd place. So this is a huge, huge matchup tonight. Stony Brook versus Liberty, as big as it gets in the ACHA. And huge implications. Liberty formerly in Stony Brook's division, but are no longer, and they've had quite the rivalry for quite some time. And hopefully the ties start to turn a little bit, because over the past few seasons, Liberty has had Stony Brook's number. We wish the Stony Brook hockey team good luck tonight as they take on Liberty at 7. You can check out the live stream. Stony Brook Hockey on Twitter will be tweeting that out for anybody who wants to check it out. In recent news for Stony Brook Hockey, their captain and defenseman Brendan Pepe won the ESCHL Player of the Month. He has been an absolute horse on the blue line for the Stony Brook Seawolves. He's got 5 goals, 9 assists, 2 game-winning goals, and one of them came just last Saturday on the power play versus NYU. It was the lone power play Stony Brook had all game. It was 0-0. They outshot NYU by a lot. I don't remember the exact margin, but it was Stony Brook ended with over 50 shots, and I can tell you NYU had probably less than half that, but it was a dominant effort by the Seawolves, and they got rewarded at the very end of the game with just over a few minutes left. Brendan Pepe scores that game-winning goal. Matvei Kozakov, starting goaltender for the Seawolves, is 8-1. He's got the second-best win-loss record in the ACHA. He's 13th with a 1.75 goals against average, and he's 10th in save percentage with a .944. So, wow, pretty incredible for Matvei Kozakov. And tonight, like I said, they take it on Liberty, and I'll be watching that game here in the studio, and I'll be providing updates for that after or in between periods. So we will, I'll hear from you guys later. So moving on from our humble little school to the pros, National Hockey League. We finished with hockey for college. Let's start with hockey for the pros. Biggest news out of the NHL recently is the Jack Eichel trade. Jack Eichel is, in my opinion, one of the top players in the NHL, and he didn't play much of last season. He's had nagging injuries with his neck and shoulder region. Buffalo has prevented him from getting the surgery he's wanted. He even, in a recent interview, he mentioned that he would have gone back to Buffalo if they just let him get the surgery. It's not happening. He's having the surgery now in Vegas because he got traded to Vegas, as if that team didn't need to get any better. But he got traded out of Buffalo to Vegas for prospect Peyton Krebs, Alex Tuck, a first, and a second-round pick. Vegas gets the first-line center, they have desperately needed. Vegas has knocked at the door of the Stanley Cup for so long, it feels like. In their first season, they made it to the final before losing in 5 to Washington. They've made the conference finals, I believe, twice since then. So Vegas has needed a first-line center for a long time, and a line of Eichel, Stone, and Pacioretty, my God, that is going to tear the league apart. I mean, they scare me. I was hoping, I'm an Islanders fan, I was hoping this was our year. Now I'm starting to be convinced if Eichel can get healthy, the timetable for recovery is 4 months. If he's back around, that January to February region, if he is the player he was before, I mean, he was a point per game player. He was incredible for Buffalo, and Buffalo is a team where he didn't have a lot of, guys to go with. He's going to have Mark Stone, who is, according to a lot of people, a top 5 winger in the National Hockey League, and Max Pacioretty, who is a perennial 25 to 35 goal scorer in hockey. He's going to have tons to work with. So Vegas, they're dealing with some injuries, and they're going to have to deal with their cap situation after that financially. They're going to be over the cap once everybody's healthy and once Eichel is healthy as well. So what they're going to do to maneuver that cap space, I don't know. We've seen a lot of cap manipulation. If you don't know, the Tampa Bay Lightning, who won the Stanley Cup last year, they were $19 million over the cap. They utilized a loophole in the NHL's cap compliancy guidelines. They sat their guys on long-term injury reserve, didn't need to, and so those guys didn't count towards the salary, acquired players, and then those guys were healthy for the playoffs, and so they were $19 million over the cap when they beat the Islanders. So were they cheaters? I don't know. Are the Islanders the rightful Stanley Cup champions? I don't know. But we'll talk about the Islanders soon enough. But Vegas looking like the favorites out of the West, along with those Colorado Avalanche. But favorites out of the East, Islanders and Rangers. Could either of them be the favorites out of the East? For the Rangers, if you're a Rangers fan, you're probably very happy. The big news from the Rangers is that Adam Fox, last year's Norris Trophy winning defenseman, one of the best defensemen in the league. He is fantastic defensively. He's one of the smartest players in the league. He is a power play quarterback. He had an absurd number of power play assists last season. He just signed a 7-year contract for an annual average salary of $9.5 million. And in this defenseman's market where Charlie McAvoy got a similar contract, Zach Werenski got a similar contract, Seth Jones got a similar contract, Cal McCarr got a similar contract, that's a fantastic contract. In the days of old, when defensemen were not getting that much money, it may seem like a ton, but I mean, this is a top 3 defender in the league, maybe top 1. I mean, he won the best defenseman award last year, so I mean, he's obviously very good. So getting the best defenseman in the league for a contract that a lot of other guys have signed, and guys like Werenski and Jones, in my opinion, are just not as good, not on the same playing field as Adam Fox. So it's a great deal for the Rangers. It's a great deal for Fox. It's his hometown team. So, I mean, he's thrilled. The Ranger fans are thrilled to have, their superstar defender. As for the bad news for the Rangers is that their first-round pick from 2018, Vitaly Kravtsov, he was loaned to his former KHL team, Tractor. And it's not a great situation for either. Vitaly Kravtsov has been open and honest. He said that his goal is to get back to the New York Rangers. Will he get there anytime soon? I don't know. He's had his problems. He's had his issues with new coach of the Rangers, Gerard Gallant, just not having a great camp, and then he being sent down to the AHL, the Rangers affiliate, the Hartford Wolfpack, and then refusing to report. So, I mean, there's definitely been some drama there between Kravtsov and Rangers management. It's a tough situation for him. He's a good, solid player, just needs to round out his game to get to that NHL level. So we'll see what happens with him. They're in a good spot right now, the New York Rangers. They're second in the division. They got 12 points. They're 6-2-2. They're coming off a tough loss. They blew a 2-0 lead for a 3-2 loss versus the Vancouver Canucks. Their power play has improved since we last discussed them. Panarin and Zibanejad each had a power play goal in the last game against the Canucks, but they need more out of those guys on 5-on-5. Panarin only has 4 points at even strength. Also, we talked about Niels Lundqvist last time. He's scratched now, and he's been scratched for the last 3 straight games in place of big size-strength defenseman Jared Tenorti. And more talk about the young guys for the Rangers who haven't been what Ranger fans have wanted. Capo Kakko, Alexis Lafreniere. Kakko has 0 points, and he is the Rangers' second overall pick from the 2019 draft. He's got 0 points in 6 games. He's played like 90% of his 5-on-5 ice time with Artemi Panarin, one of the better players in the entire National Hockey League. And his offensive numbers are brutal. The team is not generating offense when he is out there. And for Alexis Lafreniere, he's been better, but even still, his coach has not been too improved with him. He's been moved out. He's been more down to the 4th line yesterday's practice. So we'll see if he's there tonight when they take on Edmonton at 9:30. But yeah, so I mean, if you're a Rangers fan, you're happy with how your team has started off, but a lot of pieces need to start coming together. They've, their good record is what it is because of their goaltender, Igor Shesterkin. He's a fantastic goaltender, one of the best in the National Hockey League, and so is it sustainable? Is what the Rangers doing sustainable? Like I said, they need more out of Panarin and Zibanejad 5-on-5. The young guys are not doing what they need to be doing. Gerard Gallant, the coach, has criticized Alexis Lafreniere's game. And Alexis Lafreniere said, yeah, I know I need to play better. But we're waiting for those guys. And, when you watch them, you don't get that these guys are top prospects in the league. These guys were top overall picks in the league. You don't get that feel from them. And, Alexis Lafreniere, I think he's going to end up having a very good career. But Capo Kakko, I mean, clock's ticking on him. I mean, this is his 3rd full season in the pros. Was not great last year, was not great the year before. And so, I mean, I don't know. Should we say the B word? Should we talk about bust? Could it possibly be? I don't want to say just, I don't like giving up on guys, even if they're on my rival's team. I just don't like it. So we'll see. But like I said, they are in action tonight versus Edmonton and tomorrow versus Calgary. So it's that Western Canada road trip for the Rangers. It's never feels like it's too kind to teams around here. The Islanders always struggle. So Islanders too, they've made a move recently. It's not quite as big as the Jack Eichel trade, but they traded the contract of Johnny Boychuk to Buffalo. Johnny Boychuk has been on long-term injury reserve since the end of the 2020 playoffs from the bubble. He only played a few games in that playoff series. He had took a skate blade to the eye, was injured for a while, came back in the very first game of the 2020 playoffs. He got hurt again. Came back and played games 5 and 6, I believe, versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. And he hasn't played since. Still was under contract by the Islanders. His contract was not counting against the Islanders cap. But now they moved his contract to Buffalo. It allows Buffalo to reach the salary cap floor. So they are cap compliant now. And it allows the New York Islanders to open up $10 million worth of cap space by the trade deadline. General manager Lou Lamoriello of the New York Islanders is a wizard when it comes to freeing up cap space. It's just a matter of what he fills it up with that is going to be very interesting because he's very unpredictable. Never sure what he's going to prioritize, what he's going to spend that money on. Because over the offseason, between the signings, there was a projected $8.5 million salary left over just from re-signing the Islanders guys, and felt like something big might be coming to the Island, but nothing did. We just stayed the same for better or for worse. But we'll see what he does with that $10 million by the trade deadline. It's going to be interesting because the Islanders have constantly been criticized for their lack of offense, not defense. But this year it kind of feels a little different. The Islanders have had to play with their defense a significant amount. They broke up their top pair of Adam Pelech and Ryan Pulock. They'd accommodated Zdeno Chara being in the lineup by like I said, jumbling those pairs. So it's interesting to see the Islanders will recognize maybe it's not sustainable to separate our top pair and to, have this guy in the lineup who Zdeno Chara had a good game yesterday, but has not had a good season so far, is in the minuses. The team does not generate opportunities when he's out there. He simply struggles. The team simply struggles when he's out there, and he's dragging down the game of Ryan Pulock, who is the number 1 or number 2 defenseman on the team, however you look at things, and his partnership with Adam Pelech. So very, very interesting to see what the Islanders will do. Will they get another left-handed defenseman to fill in for that? I know Hampus Lindholm, there's been rumors of him being available. Travis Dermott from Toronto, him being available. So who knows what the Islanders will do? And obviously, maybe they think their defense is good enough. Maybe they think maybe a rookie like Sebastian Aho or Robin Salo can make up for that. I don't know. Could it be a scorer that comes to the Island? A Philip Forsberg kind of guy. I know my friends and I, all Islander fans, would love to see Filthy Phil on the Island. But now it's like, do we prioritize defense? I don't know. But they are coming off, since we last spoke about the Islanders, they had a shootout loss versus Nashville. It's a tough one to lose. They played great for 40 minutes. And, it's one of those that you just kind of like leave in the past. It's a tough one. They had a dominant effort versus the Montreal Canadiens. They beat them 6-2. It was 5-0 for, quite a while until the Islanders let up a shorthanded goal after Zdeno Chara broke his stick, giving up an odd man rush. Goaltender Ilya Sorokin has been incredible. Brock Nelson had 4 goals last night. So it's just been it's been a good little while for both New York teams. Islanders are on, I believe, a 6-game point streak, and that could extend that to 8. They have back-to-back over the weekend, Saturday versus the Winnipeg Jets, Sunday versus the Minnesota Wild. So the road trip, the pre-Belmont Park UBS Arena road trip is coming to a close. It feels like it's been a while. The Islanders only played 2 games in the last 12 days. So, Islanders hopefully will continue that point streak this weekend. Only 5 games left in the road trip. And we will see what they do with this lineup, with this blue line, with Oliver Wahlstrom, who is the Islanders' first-round pick from 2018. I cannot say enough good things about Oliver Wahlstrom and his shot. He's got 5 goals in 8 games, and he's averaging over 12.5 minutes per game. That is 4th-line numbers for a guy who could be a 30-40 goal scorer one day. I personally want to see this guy with Matt Barzal on the top line. I can't even imagine what those guys would do together. Oliver Wahlstrom is generating offense on a 3rd line, playing 4th-line minutes. I mean, if he gets that time with Matt Barzal and a guy like Anders Lee, I mean, that is lightning in a bottle for the New York Islanders. Moving on from hockey, we'll talk some MLB. Obviously, the Atlanta Braves won the World Series in 6 games over the Houston Astros. Jorge Soler was named the World Series MVP. As a Mets fan, it's a tough World Series to root for. You've seen every division rival, Phillies, Nats, and now the Braves won a World Series before the Mets. But it's root for our division rival or root for a team that cheated in the Houston Astros. So I was personally rooting for the Braves. So I was glad to see them win. But getting into the New York sports for baseball, the Yankees had a disappointing end to the season. They lost in the wild card game versus the Red Sox. They put together an amazing 13-game winning streak to get there. Couldn't make it past their rivals. And they have some work to do this offseason. Their pitcher, Corey Kluber, and their first baseman, Anthony Rizzo, are free agents. It seems like the consensus amongst fans of the Yankees that they want to re-sign Corey Kluber. They want to re-sign Anthony Rizzo and maybe leave Corey Kluber. He's an older, more injury-prone pitcher. Maybe leave him, leave him in the past, unfortunately. But according to MLB insider Jim Bowden, the Yankees will be in the market of targeting a big-time shortstop. That could be a Carlos Correa. That could be a Corey Seager. It could be a Trevor Story. They're looking to bulk up in that area. They also are looking for a center fielder to replace Brett Gardner, who is no longer a New York Yankee. The only member of that 2009 World Series team, he is no longer a Yankee. They're also looking to improve at catcher as well. Hoping for, as far as pitching goes, guys within the system like Luis Heel and Clark Schmidt. They have those guys. Luis Heel is looking to take a bigger role this season. Severino is going to be a starter this year, so maybe time to rethink the starters here and leave some guys in the past. But moving on from the Yankees, the New York Mets, they held the top spot in the NL East for over 100 days, and they didn't make the playoffs. Between injuries to guys like DeGrom, Lindor, Nimmo, Conforto, McNeil, it felt like the Mets were never healthy last season, and underperforming seasons from quite a few guys on the team, including Lindor really not putting together a great run until the end of the season, and Conforto and McNeil all had underwhelming seasons. And the Mets perhaps have the most interesting offseason of any team. They have a lot of important free agents to sign. Marcus Stroman, he was their ace once Jacob deGrom was out, and the number 2 when Jacob deGrom is healthy. They need to re-sign him, in my opinion. Conforto and Noah Syndergaard, both longtime Mets. Conforto was drafted by the team in 2014. Syndergaard was traded and he's been on the team since 2012. Both should get the qualifying offer. Conforto might not take it. His agent is Scott Boras, and he's known to command a lot of money from teams. And Syndergaard, I would say he's likely to take it. He's recovering from Tommy John surgery, want to increase his stock before maybe getting a bigger contract. But, when you go for the World Series, you go for your championship, the guys you want are guys that have been in the uniform for a while. They've been in the system for a while, and they're kind of homegrown guys. You look at teams that, across all sports, you like to have those guys on your roster. It feels like, you've built a real team there. But so I would like to see Conforto back. I would like to see Syndergaard back. Stroman, I think, is a must. I think that's a no-brainer. Stroman's excellent. Javi Baez, too, the Mets trade deadline pickup. Having an infield of Baez and Lindor would be amazing. Those two guys love each other. They love playing together. Baez down the line in the season was a huge bat. Another guy I would re-sign for the Mets. I don't know. It's a tough situation because they have this stacked roster on paper. They have a great lineup on paper. It's going to be so hard to bring in guys when you have to get these guys all back. I mean, this is a huge, huge free agency for the Mets. I mean, they have so many guys that are eligible to be re-signed by other teams now. But I've heard Carlos Correa pop up for the New York Mets too as a name for at shortstop. But we will see. Guys like Kevin Pillar and Jonathan Villar, they were big last season as injuries popped up for the Mets, and they both are in need of new contracts. As far as pitching goes, Jerry's Familia and Aaron Loop, both bullpen guys, had good years last year. Will they bring those guys back too? It's going to be a lot of hard decisions to make in the offseason in terms of, how much money is Steve Cohen willing to spend? I mean, he has all these guys he might want to lock up from, the system that already exists. And, outside, obviously, the Mets did not win with these guys last season. What is going on with the New York Mets? There is a culture of losing with the New York Mets that has been, unfortunately, plaguing the team. They made it to the World Series in 2015, couldn't get the job done there. Fortunately, it just feels like things have been downhill since then, and they have been. NFL Week 9, your division leaders in the AFC East are the Buffalo Bills, AFC North, Baltimore Ravens, AFC South, Tennessee Titans, AFC West, the Raiders, NFC East, Cowboys, NFC North, the Packers, NFC South, the Bucks, and the NFC West, the Cardinals. NFC West, the most interesting. Cardinals and Rams are both 7-1. Some key matchups this Sunday. AFC North matchup between the 5-3 Bengals and the 4-4 Browns. Browns are last in their division. Pretty disappointing after last season. They beat the Steelers in the playoffs, then lost to the Chiefs. So, that's a team. The Browns are very much in need of a win. The Chiefs, another team that are in a win, also in need of a win. They're also 4-4. They have underperformed this season. Their defense has been Swiss cheese, just to say nicely here. They take on an Aaron Rodgers-less Packers as he came down with COVID. So this is a big opportunity for the Chiefs to win. They're third in their division, and they need to start getting the wins here. They almost lost to the Giants last week. They beat them 2017. The Giants and Jets have, two things. They have one thing big in common right now. both 2-6. They're both, not good. The Jets are only above Miami. The Giants are the bottom of their division. The Giants have lost the close games this year. They lost a 1-point game to Washington, a 3-point game to Kansas City and Atlanta. They have, blown any chance to the postseason most likely. And just if that wasn't enough, Saquon Barkley is out with COVID. A COVID outbreak is going on the team right now. Safety Xavier McKinney's out. Rookie Gary Brightwell is out. So 13 members of the Giants organization have tested positive. Some are likely to be false positives, but either way, not good right now if you are a Giants fan, and things are probably not going to get too much better. If you're a Jets fan, well, you're probably not too happy either, unfortunately. Their 2 wins of the season are against winning teams. The Bengals and the AFC South leading Titans. Their last win against the Bengals was great. Rookie Mike White is a fourth-year pro. He led them through a comeback win for 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, had a 140.1 passer rating. And he went from practice squad to Hall of Fame because his 37 completions is the most in any debut in NFL history. Second QB since 1950 to throw over 400 yards in his debut. The only person in these last 70 years to hold that esteem is Cam Newton. He won the AFC Player of the Week as well. They fell apart last night, though, versus the Colts. Their D was in disarray. Mike White got hurt. And now the question is, what QB are the Jets going to go with going forward? Zach Wilson has been hurt. That's why Mike White played. He's projected to be healthy this week, or next week, rather. We'll see if he plays because it's against the Bills, and Jets-Bills doesn't bode too well for the New York Jets, so we'll see if they want to get him in the lineup for that. Finally, the NBA. The season is only recently underway. Both the New York Knicks and Brooklyn Nets are off to a 5-3 start. Good starts and likely playoff berths for both teams if we're doing some early predictions. For the Knicks, R.J. Barrett has been the story of the season at 35 points in their last win over the Pelicans. He's averaging 19.1 points per game. He has been a star in the making for this team. They take on the 4-4 Bucks today at 7:30. The Nets are obviously a championship potential team. They got guys like James Harden, Kevin Durant, and of course Kyrie Irving, but Kyrie Irving isn't playing right now. He refuses to get a vaccine, and so due to New York City's vaccine mandate, he is not playing right now. So we will see. The coach had mentioned that if New York City lifts the vaccine mandate, the team would welcome him back with open arms, and how could you not for a superstar like that? Irving is not shy to controversy. He's beefed with LeBron before it led to his exit from Cleveland. He has refused to talk to media before. So the controversy is nothing new for Kyrie. If I spoke to some fans, they seem to think it's a blessing in disguise that Kyrie is a distraction kind of guy, draws so much attention to himself. But the Nets, they take on the Pistons today. Pistons only have one win on the season. So could be a good night for the Brooklyn Nets to improve to 6-3. That'll do it for this student-run edition of the sports section. My name is Jake Basile. You can find me on Instagram covering hockey at BathtubJake. But for now, enjoy. You are listening to WUSB 90.1 FM Stony Brook. This is the Radioathon. We need all the help we can get these days, so please do call in. We'd love to hear from you. That'll do it from me. We'll pass it on to who's ever next. But first, here is some music. Enjoy.